Welcome everybody to the first episode of my cooking channel. This is called His and Hers Homemade Recipes. Stay tuned, this is a wonderful recipe. Alright, today we're going to make a 5-pound pork shoulder in a pressure cooker. And you're going to need 2 carrots, 2 celery stalks, half an onion. Cut half this up, put the other half, saved it for another recipe. And then we got two bunches of oregano and 6 sprigs of rosemary. And then I have 4 bullion cubes, chicken bullion. It's basically like a chicken stock in a package, and you just add water. So now we're going to prep all that up. So I just need to peel the carrots here. And then we're going to chop the onion up about a 1/4 inch thick. Slice it up. And then we're going to prep all the rosemary and oregano, and I'll show you how to do that. All you really got to do with the carrots is chop the ends off, and on both ends, and then you're just going to chop it, I don't know, about a 1/2 inch thick all the way down. It's going to be pressure cooked, so you want them to hold up under the pressure, and if you cut them too small, they're just going to come out mushy and not very edible. So we're cutting everything kind of thick for this one. So the carrots are chopped, onion, again cut the end off, and then you're going to take the outer layer of skin, peel that off. Most of you probably already know that, but then you're going to chop that up into about 1/4 inch slices all the way down. And again, you want it to be relatively thick because you want it to hold up under this pressure. Celery, you guessed it, both ends off, same thing. You can, what I like to do is just cut one end off and then go all the way up to the other end instead of cutting it off. Just saves me a little bit of time. When you get to the rosemary and oregano, um, there's kind of a special technique to get all these off if you've never worked with them before. So the rosemary is the hard one, so we'll start with that. And what you're going to do basically is just take the rosemary piece by piece off the main center vine, and then you want to get all the little branches out and just take only green. So you're just kind of ripping off all the green parts. And yeah, it just takes, it's tedious, but necessary. And then the oregano is super easy. You just grab it by the stem with 3 fingers, and you can kind of run your fingers all the way down the stem in one motion, and it'll all just slide right off. Super easy. Now that everything's ready, I'm gonna get the Instapot going. So this is the container in the middle of the Instapot that you put everything in. Just got a 5-pound pork shoulder piece there. Um, this one just by chance doesn't have a bone, but bone-in is totally fine in this recipe as well. So you're gonna fill it up like basically a little more than halfway up the pork with water, just water, and then you can start adding all these ingredients that you prepped. So I'm starting with these bullion cubes. You just unwrap them, dump them in. There's no special treatment with those. So you're going to add all the onions, carrots, celery, rosemary, oregano. It's all going to go in there. I just like to break up my onion a little bit so it gets spread out evenly. Yeah, but there's not much technique to this. Kind of just dump it all in. And then I made a last second decision to throw in some garlic at the end. Just chopped about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic, really small chop. You could even do like, you don't really have to chop it as small as I did, because it's going to be pressure cooked for so long. It'll be nice and tender. I added a bunch of salt and pepper as well. I highly recommend salt and pepper in damn near everything. It always just brings out all the flavor, especially in this one, man. So I cooked this up, and I probably had 10 different meals out of it. I had tacos, burritos, barbecue pulled pork sandwiches. Yeah, I mean, you can these 5 pounds go a long ways for typically like a half pound portion size. So you can just do the math. It's about 10 servings. So yeah, the Instapot's super easy to use. You're just gonna dump it in there, put it right into the Instapot, close it, and make sure you follow the instructions on the vent on the top, because it has to be. It's a pressure seal on the top. There's a little knob, and it's got to be sealed, just because it's gonna be increasing the pressure in there. But I'm pretty sure there's a safety feature on it, so if it's not properly closed, it'll like beep at you and make sure that you close it before it starts cooking. Anyway, I had 3 hours, low pressure, and you'll see me here. I'm adjusting it, making sure. And then all you gotta do is, once you're on the pressure cook setting and you got 3 hours, make sure you press keep warm and make sure that light's ready, so that when it's done, which I just cut to the finished product here, when it's done, it'll beep at you, but it won't turn off. It'll keep your food warm for as long as you need to set it there, kind of like a crock pot if you ever use one of those. So it's gonna let all that pressure out. It's gonna be quite loud, but don't be afraid. Some people, like my girlfriend, she'll use a stick and just kind of wiggle that knob so her hand's not near it. But yeah, it'll take about 2 minutes to depressurize. You can see here that it's still locked up, and at 2 minutes in, it's still locked up, kind of because it has a safety feature until all the pressure is released. And this is the final product here. Oh my god. Wait till you see how tender this is. Oh my goodness. I'm just stirring it up a little. Oh yeah. Smells wonderful, like unbelievable. And it just falls apart. I barely touch it, and all the strands of pork are just sliding off. You can tell if there's a bone in there. Just slip right out. That's normally how it goes. You just find the bone, and you'll be able to yank it right out. No problem. And then you can pull these apart immediately and just start pulling it. And then some people like to portion out their food. Other people, if you're having 8 people and you need to, feed them all, you can pull it all apart, put it on a nice serving plate, throw some tacos and taco sides on the side.